while ago, I was developing a new AI model, and it was meant to be a competitor to ChatGPT and all the other big AI models out there. And so I was developing it, I was designing it, I was looking at existing machine learning models and their research papers and really trying to understand the deep mathematics in it, and then researching and developing and trying to even train it. And I didn't even realize that all of these machine learning models require massive infrastructures to become large, right? Large language model. The large comes from large infrastructure, large data set. And I didn't realize that, but I still continued developing it. And in the end, I eventually couldn't complete it. And I don't want to settle for a small language model, so I didn't do it. Didn't continue with it. But there really isn't much to this story, except for one thing, is that I interpret it as a loss. And that's the crucial part. Now, I wasn't like actually upset in any way, but I thought, oh, that's very annoying that I spent so much time. And so I interpreted it as like, okay, that's a lot of time that I spent doing something that couldn't even be achieved. So what's the point? And you may raise that question to yourself as well at some point if you are a novice developer trying to make something. And that's the issue that I will discuss right now. I interpret it as a loss. You might find out that what you're doing is infeasible, or that it takes too long, or that, I don't know, you've been taking too long developing it, or you have some kind of new idea and you want to hop to it instead. And so then you might, like, to some extent think, wow, okay, like I didn't really like the fact that I spent so much time, didn't really get anything done. Okay, I'm going to lock in on this new idea, right? And so you will interpret it as like, okay, that was nothing. That was like spending my time ineffectively, but now I know a new thing. Now what I'm doing, this is going to be like the serious part, the serious development where I actually launch a new app, right? And you kind of disregard what you've done as like, okay, I wasted my time. But the real truth is that time was not wasted. It was actually spent well. And what am I trying to say is that I learned a lot of machine learning concepts. I learned a lot of mathematical concepts. You know, that complex Adam machine learning algorithm. You probably haven't ever seen it in your life, but I try to study that as well. I learned about TensorFlow and how to work with it better. And then I've learned how to work with Jupyter and then with Kaggle. All these things I learned how to use, right? And I just really understood how AI systems work from inside. This is what I developed. This is my, as we can call it right now, skill set. This is my skill set. And uh, some of these are less useful than others, but nonetheless, they're pretty helpful to know. And it actually kind of solidified me into like saying, okay, my interest is actually like AI because because as a result of this stuff, where I actually understood how they work from inside, and now that's my passion. Right. This was actually very useful to find out. And what I'm trying to say is that you might experience the same and not even really realize what you're learning and how beneficial it is long term. Because if you're like self-taught, which is most likely if you're watching this, then you're going to learn a lot of things by making projects. At least I do. I can't speak for everybody, but I develop skills by developing projects. Projects give me skills. And you might find that that's the same thing that happens with you. And there's another thing, especially relating to AI, is that when you know how an AI system works, you don't fear it at all. I should probably switch that word fear to like worry, you don't worry about it at all. As in like, people say, oh my God, AI is going to take over all this stuff. And then for people who don't understand how they work, they are only going to try to poke at mistakes that the AI makes, right? Like imagine if you have no knowledge about how an AI system works, and then you like are worried about AI taking over, and then you see an AI system like write a bunch of absolute trash to some kind of prompt, right? And then you're like, oh, see, it doesn't know anything. It's just not that good. And so they have to poke at like mistakes that the AI makes, but AI is to getting better and better over time, and these mistakes, there's going to be way less of them. And so there's nothing to poke and prod at later. And so instead, you can rely on knowledge of how it works from inside and understand, okay, even though it seems like it's very general intelligence, it's not actually. And in reality, it's completely narrow. It just generates tokens. It just like does mathematics. It doesn't do any understanding of the English language, any language at all. And that is very important to understand as well. And so that's another skill that I got. And so that's what I'm telling you right now is that if you've come to the realization that maybe your project is taking too long, you want a new idea, all these thoughts, it's probably developed your skill set very well. If you do feel like you haven't progressed much in developing your app, but you would really like to launch it sooner, then I suggest you try Stellar AI. It's an AI assistant designed for self-taught developers like me to go through the development process by setting goals, researching, creating a real plan with deadlines and action steps, and developing alongside with the AI step by step till completion, till a polished and final app. It's in its early stages and you can even sign up for free right now, so go into the link in the description and sign up now. Thank you.